I am a little tentative doing this video because I'm not exactly sure where the viewers are in terms of going on learning walks, powering up their lessons, whether they've attended the summit. But I figure just doing a little summary of connecting the C5W with the learning walks, with the summit, with the book we're reading, 17,000 classroom visits, can't be wrong. Maybe it might turn on a light bulb for someone, and that's all I really need. So people are asking questions. How do learning walks reflect what we've been learning from Antonetti and the summit? What does it mean to power up a lesson? Why are we doing this? I will be answering some of these questions and hopefully more in the video. I had a chance to see John Antonetti at the summit this past summer, and I highly recommend that you attend next year if you haven't gone. There are small changes we can make as educators that have a huge return as far as student engagement and mastery. This job is a human endeavor. Nothing is perfect, and sometimes this process can get messy because we are trying new things in our classrooms. But after some patience and persistence, I've seen my students accomplish many amazing things over the years, and I hope you will too. So the main thing I take away from perfecting my craft in the past few years is that the students should be talking, the students should be engaged, and the students should be tired, not just teachers. Practices like the 10-2 rule are already out there as research confirmed best practices for teachers. I found myself constantly lecturing to silent students, answering my own questions, and just mentally exhausted by the end of the day. I knew it was time to rethink my approach. There are a million reasons why it's difficult to expect students to be more engaged in their learning, but the rewards are endless as long as you have high, unwavering expectations, an open mind, and the true belief that students can succeed in a lesson that you might think is risky. We hear the names Marzano, Bloom, and Schlechte, and sometimes we brush them off as industry jargon or interview buzzwords. But these people have spent countless hours researching and compiling what really is best for learners. This is a good graphic, this cube, that ties everything together. I personally like to focus on the 8 engaging qualities of work when I plan tasks for students. So this doesn't have to be something that you're really focusing on all 8 for every single day, for every single task. But if you're getting 3 or 4 of these 8 engaging qualities, then you will be able to hopefully get a higher percentage of students that are truly engaged in what you're doing. And if you'll notice, kind of looking at all 3 of the sides present on the cube, they do go with our C5W ideas that we are pushing in our county. This is a chart that's available in the book, 17,000 Classroom Visits. It's a lot to take in all at once. Generally, it's a great graphic to reference when you're planning lessons or activities for your students, or when you're taking a look at your existing activities. What are you demanding from your students? What are you demanding from yourself? Is there a way to power up some of these tasks to help your students cross the rigor divide more often? If you haven't read chapter 1 in the book, there's actually, or between chapter 1 and 3, there are examples of, here's a lesson that is, maybe on the level 1 or 2 side of the rigor divide, and then it gives examples of things that are pushing over to 3 or 4. To look at just the top column, Antonetti's research centers on the fact that we're almost doing what we need to do. Small changes bring big rewards. We only need to cross the rigor divide 20% of the time. Sometimes this means changing one aspect of a lesson, an activator, a summarizer, think, pair, share, to make the students answer or ask questions, connect the material to other material, or connect material to their own lives and their own thinking. If you are making students think, this cannot go wrong. In classroom management and lesson planning, we think, what will I say next? Instead, I often make management and planning decisions by thinking, what can I ask next? When I ask my students to do certain things, they sometimes stare at me like I'm crazy. They beg me for information so they can write it down and be done. They are baby birds waiting for food. It is really frustrating. It's tempting to just give it to them. Honestly, it is okay to do that sometimes. There's a time and a place for lecturing and conveying information, but the fact that students are conditioned to complain when they have to do something else is not okay. I somehow found a sarcastic-looking bird parent that depicts how I feel when my students act like baby birds. I want so much more for them. I want them to be able to think, troubleshoot, ask questions, collaborate, and reflect. I want them to feel safe to be active hunters of information, process that information in their own way, and communicate their thinking to others. If we don't give them an opportunity to feel safe while taking risks, this won't work. Our minds immediately go to what we cannot do. These things are poison. The can'ts often spread to others, and possibilities and rewards are overshadowed. These students can't, they won't, there's no way, it'll be easier if I just, but there's no time, I'm not going to put all this work in just for them to, blah, blah, blah. You need to be the change as a teacher, and it's small changes, and then it causes a ripple effect throughout your department, throughout the building, and then throughout the bigger picture of the county. So I always say things like, try it out. You'll ease the students into the big task by giving them the small task a week ahead of time. The first time we'll do it together, I'll model it. What less rigorous task can I replace with a more rigorous one? How can I have students own information? If students see me accept and adapt to failure in real time, they will too. And if we can't feel safe to take risks and learn from failure, how will our students feel safe? Tell the students what you're doing. Convey to them that you're honing your craft and you know what's best for them. Tell them to trust you while you go on the journey together. They will surprise you in the most pleasant of ways. As you make small changes, it will get easier. My walking group had come up with some questions maybe that we want to ask students in addition to the ones that we were asking already for our building. So maybe some of these, you can start to ask some of the students to connect this to what you're learning in the book specifically. They're not new or required, but I was brainstorming, so can you. And this is one of my favorite quotes I got from a student in the past couple of weeks. Never accept the world as it appears to be. Dare to see it for what it could be. That is how I think we need to see the world and shift our focus, and hopefully more people can come along for the ride. Thank you for listening, and I hope you got something out of this video.